Coming up on today's show, we got some fun summer recipes. That's all coming up on Cooking Crave. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
And today we got some fun summer recipes, an awesome dessert, and what kind of dip are we making?
It's a Mexican layer dip.
Oh, let's get started.
It's just really easy and it's simple and it's good. So we'll get started. First of all, it asks for 1 package of cream cheese. We're going to just beat that a little bit, and then we add a tablespoon of taco seasoning with the cream cheese.
Okay.
So we just want to get that blended a little bit, and then we'll put in the taco seasoning.
Okay.
And out there's different taco seasonings, but there's spicy, there's hot, there's mild. So just whatever, you prefer. So we're going to put that in there. And there's just, add a little bit here. Didn't have quite a tablespoon there, so.
Okay.
Let's just.
Dips that have sour cream and you have layers on them, they always go well at summer gatherings. And, I just think of traditional football parties, Super Bowl parties.
Yes, yeah.
Dips like this go over wonderful.
Oh, they do. And I've made this one, and we take it out camping, and, in the afternoon you're sitting out there, and it's just a fun, something to eat.
Well, it's something different than just chips and salsa. You got a little bit more to this, but it's not hard to make.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, we get too much into candies and stuff like that. So have something that's a little bit better for you because you have all these vegetables on it.
All right. That's the way to think about it, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. But our dessert that we're going to have later will be that for the sweet tooth.
That's right.
This recipe, it says to put in a 9-inch glass pie plate.
Okay.
And I usually, use a container that I have, that I can put a lid on, because if I'm transporting it, say like going camping, or I'm going to store it in the refrigerator and have some, for the next day, I like to have a lid on it, and it's easy, just to store then.
Well, even in something like this too, you have a lid on it. If something would get, even if you put cellophane over the top of a pie plate, you can't set anything on it or it's going to get squished.
That's right. Yes, definitely. So we've got that mixed here, and I'll just. All right. Now we got that, and we're just going to take that and we're going to put that in here, and we'll just spread that out.
Okay. So it's actually a pretty thin layer.
The base is, with your cream cheese and that, it isn't real thick, but yet, till you have your other ingredients on it, it makes it a nice dip.
Right.
So we'll just spread that out. And like I said, and if you wanted to use a glass pie plate, 9-inch, certainly can, or.
Well, if you're having a get-together at your house and you want it to be a little bit fancier, you certainly can put it on even little platters
that would, be a little bit more decorative, yes.
Right. You can make it as fancy or informal as you want it to be, actually.
And I have used even a little bit, a 9x13 different Tupperware. It's just a shallow one, and it's a little bit thinner. And that has worked out really well too,
okay.
In that. But so it's like I said, whatever you have that's handy and works for you. So we'll get that in there. Then we're going to add a cup of salsa.
Okay.
And this one here is hot. So, but my family likes hot, so we're going to just put a cup of that in there. And just spread that. So time you got all your layers in there, you're going to have a pretty, quite a bit of a dip, recipe that's going to feed quite a few hungry people. So, and then I have a half a cup of onions here, the chives, your green onions. So just dice them, put them on top. And then I have a can of black beans.
Okay.
And I rinsed those and I drained them, and I rinse mine usually and that because they have a pretty thick sauce on there.
They do.
Yes.
Most beans do.
They do. So I rinse them. And so then I'm going to put a cup of shredded lettuce on here.
Okay.
So you can already see it's going to be quite a bit.
It is. It can be a meal for somebody too.
In an evening watching a good movie and sitting down with your favorite chips and something like this, that's good.
Yes.
And then it asks for a cup of shredded cheese. So we're going to just put that on top of here. And it says a cup, but if you really like your cheese, hey, add a little bit more.
Sure.
And because till you do put all your ingredients on there, it does make it pretty thick. And that's why, I have liked my 9x13 pan because, it's a little bit more spread out. And when you're putting your dip in there, you don't have to dig through so much to, get to all the goodies. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to just put a couple of tablespoons of black olives on here.
Finishing touch.
Yes, just kind of gives it some color and makes it look really appetizing, but it is appetizing. So
now I know you've made this for our family several times. Where did you come upon this recipe?
I had found this in a Taste of Home magazine.
Okay.
That, and I tried it and we all really liked it. So it just got onto a recipe card and it's been a family favorite since.
Okay.
So that's it.
Now, is this something that's ready to go, or do you have to chill it first to kind of let it set up a little bit?
Well, it does recommend to chill it about an hour before that. So
we can set that aside and get
we'll
ready on our dessert and bring it out and feature that in a little bit.
All right. Sounds good.
We got a chocolate peanut torte that it has been a family favorite for I don't know how many years. I think we were just visiting a little bit about that, and it goes back to when my husband and I had a rehearsal supper, so that's it's over 10 years there, so I know that's something that we always enjoy.
Right, it had got rave reviews that night, so I've just made it ever since, and any occasion or family function I've made it, I haven't had anybody that has not just.
And this is something we got out of our local paper.
Right. It was out of the local newspaper.
So great.
So once in a while, there's something good there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. First of all, you start with a vanilla wafer crust. I did already pre-make this, so because it needs to cool before you put your other ingredients on.
Okay.
It calls for 2 cups crushed vanilla wafers.
Okay.
And then you take peanuts and you're going to crush about a cup of peanuts, and you're going to put 2/3 in with the crust because we're going to save 1/3 for the topping. So the crust is 2/3 cup peanuts and 2 cups vanilla wafers and 1/3 cup butter. And you just mix that, and then you bake it for about 350 for 10 minutes, just till it's nice, golden brown.
Okay.
And you want to let it cool before you put your other ingredients on it. So.
Okay.
And a great tip for when you crush like graham crackers, or the vanilla wafers, I put it in a bread bag, and then I, use my rolling pin and crushing it in the bag. This way you have it all contained. You don't have a mess over the counter. You don't have crumbs all over. For your rolling pin slips, and you got half of it on the floor.
Right.
So that putting it in a bread bag works really well.
It does.
So that's just a little tip that I do, and it works great. So we're going to start with 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. And I'll start getting that blended here. Just put that. And then it asks for a half a cup of peanut butter.
Okay.
And you can just use your favorite peanut butter you have. And, you know, this is creamy, but if I've not had the creamy, you know, chunky peanut butter will work great too because, you know, you got the peanuts in here. So that's just a little extra crunch. And then 1 cup of powdered sugar.
Okay.
So we're going to blend this in there well until it's nice and smooth. And the longer you beat it, the softer it gets and easier to spread. So.
Okay.
Okay, now we've got that whipped up really nice and light, so it makes it easy to spread. Now the beaters, hey, I'm not even going to wash because we're going to use that to mix up the pudding.
Okay.
So we don't need to wash that. We're going to fold in 2 cups of Cool Whip or any whipped topping that you may have. And we're just going to use about half of this because the other half is going to go on the top of the dessert after it sets.
Okay.
And when I put the Cool Whip in, I don't put it in the mixer anymore. I just want to blend it, stir it, so I just use my spatula and get it mixed up well.
If you like peanut butter, this is just an awesome dessert. It's
very much, yes. And I think even if you're not that fond of peanut butter, I think you probably enjoy it.
well, unless you have an allergy to it.
Yeah, we don't want nobody to have this if they're allergic to peanuts. We've just heard too many horror stories from other people how their family is allergic to peanuts and what it can do. Mm-hmm. Peanuts and shellfish must be the worst for people getting allergic to. I mean, in my opinion, of what I've heard. So this is easy to spread over there. It's not real heavy.
Right.
So it
once
spreads.
you put that Cool Whip in there, it really spreads nice.
Spreads very easily. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to use 2 packages of instant chocolate pudding.
Okay.
And I think the boxes there I have are the chocolate fudge. You know,
Yep.
the more the chocolate, the better it is. So yeah, I'll have you open those boxes for me.
Alrighty.
Can do that. Then we'll just use this bowl here again, and it asks for 3 cups cold milk. Now when you're making that pudding, it says for 2 cups milk per box.
Right.
But this recipe, you're only going to use 3 cups. So
You do want a little bit thicker.
right, you want
Okay.
it thicker, and you know it just really holds its consistency when you're cutting it.
Okay.
Whoop. I got carried away there, didn't I?
Well, if everybody's kitchen was perfect when you were cooking, everybody would do it.
Oh, well, that's true. And you just don't want to have a spotless, clean kitchen and it looks like you never cooked. So you gotta
Right.
have a little bit of a mess. So we just dump both of those packages in there, and we're gonna just beat it slowly here, just for it says about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we've got that blended well, so we'll just take that off here.
Now, when you're making this, just talking a little bit about milk, is there a difference between if you have 2% milk in your house, skim milk, whole milk? Does this set up better? Have you noticed?
Well, I usually, 2% is all we usually ever have in my household. And this time I had, by mistake, it had gotten whole milk. And I tell you, it does make it a little bit thicker and it sets up even more. So if you use skim milk, I think it's going to be a little less, not as good a consistency to it.
Okay.
And you do want it a little bit thicker. but once you refrigerate it and that, it sets up very, very good.
Okay.
So like I said, I've never tried it with skim milk, and like I said, just this whole milk, I definitely do see a difference in it.
Sure.
I'd almost look twice to make sure I had 3 cups of milk instead of just 2. So just spread that gently over your other mixture there. And this should refrigerate, you know, 2 to 4 hours, you know.
Okay.
Or it's great if you do it overnight.
Do this part the night before and just finish it up with the toppings.
Right. So the rest of it, just like before serving, we're going to put the rest of the Cool Whip on, and we'll put the rest of the peanuts in there.
Okay.
And it asks for chocolate slivers or pieces, but I found something great is those mini chocolate chips.
Yep.
They work great, and they're just a nice size. So we're going to put this in the fridge and get that cooled, and then we'll be back to finish that up.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, now we have our dessert, and just look at how nice that has set up there.
Yep.
So we're going to take the Cool Whip there, just finish that, spread that gently over the top.
I think it's been a couple months since I've had this dessert, so I can't wait to dig in.
That'll be good. And you know, you think how it sounds like it's rich, but it really doesn't taste, I mean, real rich, or it isn't real filling. And so after you've had a big meal and, you know, you're wanting to serve a dessert, you always have room for this.
In our house, we do.
Yeah. And Dad likes his dessert. That is one thing that has always been almost a must in our house.
Yep.
Had a lot of comments, people seeing the show, and they know Ron or I, and they says, I can't believe you don't weigh 300 pounds the way your wife cooks. So, okay, now we're going to sprinkle the rest of the chopped peanuts on here. I do have probably a little bit more here than I need. I just had a few extras. And sometimes, you know, when I'm, and I put this in a bag too and just use my rolling pin.
Sure.
And got that, and you get that pretty fine. So I'll just put some in a container and just put it in the fridge or freezer and use it for later.
Sure.
And then just take, like I said, you know, your little chocolate pieces, and like I said, these little mini marshmallows, chocolate chips work really good. Well, it almost looks like marshmallow there, so I must have marshmallow on my brain. Maybe my brain's turning to marshmallow, I don't know that either, but.
Well, I won't speak too loudly yet.
Okay, and just sprinkle on as many as you know you want. If you like lots, that's fine, or just so that you know you have a good generous portion on there. So that's our peanut butter parfait dessert.
Yes, it looks absolutely wonderful. It smells wonderful. I can't wait to dig in.
Okay, let's check and see how our dip turned out here. And I'm just going to get another spoon.
Again, this just goes over so well. So your next get together, you're invited over and it's an hors d'oeuvre type thing. Try this one out.
Oh, yes.
You'll be surprised at how well people will like it and how many times you get asked for that recipe.
It's, you know, things can be very simple, but it's amazing how good they are. I think the simpler they are, sometimes the better it is.
Yep.
And it's always better when it doesn't take so much time.
That's right.
So, and then, you know, just feature some of your favorite, if you like corn chips, or, you know, like I've got the scoops, which is good here, you know, to be able to scoop that. This is great with Fritos too. So whatever is your favorite dip, or excuse me, chips, that's what, you know, you can use. And one thing nice with the scoop ones, you know, you can just fill them and actually just have that on the plate, and people as they're just walking by can grab one and they won't have it all over. So
Sure.
that's our taco dip. Now let's look at our dessert here. I'm going to just take a little spatula and cut that. That works really good. You know, and feature that. And I think I will get myself a fork here. And there, and put that on there. And see, it doesn't fall all apart.
Yep.
And that's one thing, like I said, you need to let it cool nicely. Or like I said, overnight is usually what I do, and that works great. Whatever and stuff. So, and even taking it out to a, you know, a potluck or whatever. I've even taken it to like a picnic, and well, it hasn't set out for hours, but you know, it has stayed nice and firm, even, you know, with a little warmth out there. So
yeah, sounds great. Well, to get these recipes and to try them yourself, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com, and please submit your recipes for us to cook for you on Cooking Crave. We'd like to thank the Workshop as our sponsor. Thank you so much and have a great day.
we'll see you on our next show.